guys! It's been a long time, huh? Anyway, hello, hi, how are you? And welcome to this review of the Amazing Digital Circus episode 6. And before anything, really sorry for the late video. I know I should have made it back in August, but my motivations is in shambles, I swear. Hopefully I can get this video out before episode 7 gets released. Hey, how did I do, me of the future? Hope it's good news. Anyway, I think we wasted enough time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's free, I recommend it. And now, let's just get into it. The episode starts with the characters dreading Caine's next adventure, and understandably so when the latter just pulls out again. Okay, he explains the rules, they ignore him once again, so Caine says fuck it and now they have to play America Simulator. During all of this, Ragatha gets a heartfelt conversation with Kinger after losing, Zubul comforts Gangle, and the latter eventually managed to unlock her true American persona, and Pomni and Jax are just playing as if they're in a Fortnite RP. Also, why does it say Caine enabling this gun? Anyway, in the end, Jax and Pomni are the only one left, but Jax, as the absolute mess that he is, decides to push Pomni away by playing the Rage Quit / Insanity combo. And also, oh my god, he does have a tail. The episode ends with Jax on the verge of abstraction and Caine's possible imminent and most likely valid crash out. This episode was such a surprise. Not only is it the longest we've gotten, but it might also be the best one yet. Each character gets their moment and every one of them is handled so well in my opinion. Also, a side note, I think you all might already know, but the reason why they made the characters sing Daisy Bell is likely a reference to the fact that it was the first ever song that was sang by a computer. And what's funny is that when I watched this, I immediately got the reference because I had this computer version of Daisy Bell on my phone for years and I still listen to it from time to time. I'm kind of proud of this, I won't lie. Also, fun fact, technically you can also say that this is the first ever Vocaloid song in history. Man, I love this song.
Adam!
Let's talk about Gangle for a sec. Since episode 4, she started to really get along with Zubul. So when everyone was asked to be paired up in teams of 2, the two of them became one. But later on, Gangle talks about Jax and how she's scared of what he might do to her because she rejected his proposal to team up. And I thought this was very interesting because the way she talks about him isn't just about the typical mean behavior he's portraying. She's actually scared of him. Like, not just a little stressed out or annoyed because he's a jerk. No, she's actually terrified. And this is actually very interesting because up to that point, Jax was always mean to Gangle, but it was always portrayed more as a comedic moment. Since it wasn't just about Gangle, he was a dick to everyone. But in this episode, we see how Jax's behavior really affected her. She's terrified of what's to come, dreading her next encounter with him. And this actually puts into perspective how their relationship was. We knew Gangle didn't like Jax, obviously, but we didn't know it was to this extent. It makes you realize how bad Jax is actually viewed by everyone. In their eyes, he's not just a mean guy, he's an abuser. And the thing is, I don't think Jax actively realizes how bad of a person he actually is to people. Of course, he knows he's a jerk, that's his whole character. He's just mean to everyone and he knows it. The thing is, I don't think he realizes that his actions have consequences. No, more than that, I just think he doesn't grasp how much of a consequence his actions and demeanor leads to. And right now, what Gangle says in this scene is quite literally the opposite of what Jax claims their relationship are, but like to a billion degree. Gangle talks about him as if he's the literal devil. Of course he knows he's a dick, that's the point, and he always likes to push around the limits. The problem now is that I don't think he realizes that he already exceeded the limits, but to a very large margin. And the results are Ragatha's disappointment in herself, Zubul's hatred towards him, and well, Gangle in this scene. And she's not only scared of Jax, she also tells Zubul how she hates some part of herself, how this part makes her worse than everyone else, and how she can't put herself to like them or to just like herself at all. But thankfully, Gangle is here to comfort her. They claim that those are just the real parts of her and that it's what makes them her. That she has to choose to love herself because that emotion isn't something in it. It's something you have to actively see and realize that it's okay. That you've got to see it for yourself and choose to accept it because they exist. And this right here parallels the scene we had before with Jax and Pomni. Essentially, Jax is trying to teach Pomni how to use guns, but she's a little bit scared about using those, especially towards her friends. And that's when Jax gives Pomni what I might call a very interesting advice. He explains that essentially they're in a fictional world where nothing can happen to them since they can't really die, and that the more they stay in this world, world, the more dulled out they become until they just become archetypes of themselves. So he finally tells her to just forget everything and do whatever the hell she wants since there are no consequences. And as much as I understand what he's saying, I don't fully agree with his advice right now. You have to understand, there's a big difference between saying, in this world you don't have to think too much, so just let loose and have fun by being someone different for once, and yeah, this world isn't real anyway, so forget what you ever were, bottle up your emotions, and play a character at all times. After all, what's the point in all of this? It doesn't matter here. See what I mean? And like I said, this is a total parallel to Gangle and Zubul's conversation, with Zubul explaining how every part of Gangle's feelings is something important because it's real, contrarily to Jax, who just plays a character because he thinks his real emotions don't matter. In his twisted mind, he actually thinks everyone became quote-unquote archetypes, and that's where he's wrong. They didn't become archetypes like he's saying. He sees them as archetypes. And that's a huge info on his psyche, because that tells us one major thing. Jax actually doesn't know any of them. He never bothered bonding with any of them. He never bothered caring for any of them. He technically cares, but he never actually tried to show it or even acknowledge it. In any case, he never tried to know them, because all he sees are one-dimensional characters that are nothing more or nothing less. He actively refuses to see them as more than an archetype, because the moment he does is the moment he'll see them as humans. And if that happens, then he would have to actually start seeing himself as human, and to actually acknowledge that the situation he's in isn't just fiction and unimportant. He would have to actually see this world and his situation as meaningful. All the hurt he's been getting, all the hurt that he's been doing, all the people he encountered and parted with, he would have to come with the fact that reality is also a part of this world. And this frightens him. And all of this acts as his defense mechanism, like the pushing away when they're too close and the invisible mask he's wearing. His view of this world also acts as another defense mechanism, because if they're too close, he'll start seeing them as who they actually are. And if that happens, he'll risk actually breaking his own walls, which in his mind would put him on the verge of abstraction. Why? Because if he doesn't care, he has no reason to go crazy.
I'm really sorry I didn't come to your dad's funeral.
Ragatha was a bit of a mess this episode. The remnants of the last episode are still there, and she still feels like a failure, so to speak. And this episode didn't solve what she's feeling. First when she declines Pomni after to team up, next when she tells Jax her delusions before he shoots her. After losing, she ends up in this room where she is then joined by Kinger. And we can see that she isn't well. When Kinger asks her if she's okay, she tells him that she failed Pomni, just like she failed Jax. Now this is very interesting, because up to that point, Ragatha has been trying so hard to get on Pomni's good side, to get on everyone's good side, even disregarding her own feelings and her own emotions, to the point that now she thinks everyone almost hates her. But here's the thing, when you rewatch the episodes, it's never really like that. I mean, look at this scene with Pomni when they had to choose teams. Pomni asks her if she wants to be on a team with her, to which Ragatha responds that she prefers to get with Kinger to prevent what I would call chaos incarnate. Pomni understands, then she goes to Jax. Easy, right? And Pomni doesn't seem to mind at all. But in Ragatha's mind, it was a big deal. For her, she just abandoned Pomni. And in her mind again, this means that now Pomni won't ever go to her for anything ever again. That she's done with her, so to speak. And this thought process seems to be something that Ragatha goes through a lot. Basically, she gets everything out of proportion because she is scared of what others might think of her. She craves validation so intensely that to her, every situation she's in gets meaningful, to the point of overthinking everything even when it's not necessary. And Kinger acknowledges that. I love his response to Ragatha in this scene. How her worrying about everyone else shouldn't be to the detriment of her own self-worth. How giving someone space or stepping aside isn't the same as giving up on them. You can't expect someone else to always rely on you, but you can be there for them whenever they need to, just as much as sometimes you also need time to yourself. You can't be responsible for everyone's problems, and you definitely don't need to shame yourself for everyone's problem. Ragatha is my favorite character alongside Jax, but I'll admit, I also have a love-hate relationship with her, and this scene kind of fermented this hate. Now, you might be wondering why I hate her. It's simple. She's too relatable, but to an awfully close degree, it's painful. Her reactions and her conversation with Kinger this episode hit so close to me it physically hurt. I genuinely started tearing up during this scene. Her saying she failed Pomni and exaggerating her reaction when it wasn't even like that. Trying so hard not to be hated because you hate the idea of someone being disappointed in you, or just not liking you because in your mind it would mean that you either did something really bad to that person, or that something in your personality is so unlikable that it leaves you questioning your entire being, trying to find what exactly in you would make this someone hate you, since for you, this means that this unlikable thing automatically makes you a horrible villain. As you can see, I know that feeling too well. And trust me when I say, this feeling is not enjoyable. I used to ask every week to new friends I made if I was a bother and to be honest with me if they didn't like me. Like I said, not an enjoyable feeling. And to people still feeling like this today, know that I'm with you. I hope you'll overcome this. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, Ragatha is my favorite character with Jax. I really like her. But oh my god, I felt so called out this episode. I had to pause every 5 seconds, which isn't a bad thing technically, I'm just saying. We have to talk about Kinger, right? We can't just brush past whatever this scene was. Right? So, yeah, to recontextualize, in this scene, Ragatha is missing a life and is rightfully pretty bitter about it. To which Kinger, out of his non-existent ass, just pulls out a butterfly that somehow regains Ragatha's missing life, and when asked about what the fuck he just did, Kinger just responds,
"It's a butterfly. It can restore your health."
Did Caine mention that?
Oh, nah. I made it up.
Wait, what? You can't just... Huh? This whole scene is something, and we don't even talk about it later. It just comes out of nowhere, and for some reason, we just have to deal with it. Obviously, a lot of theories started to come out because of that. Some said that since we know Kinger had a degree in computer science, he might be one of the devs behind the circus, and thus can just do that kind of stuff. Others said that he may be able... And I also saw some others saying that the people in the circus have the ability to use their imaginations to do whatever they want in this world, but they just haven't figured it out yet. Honestly, at this point, I'm still not sure what it could be, but with episode 7 coming soon, who knows, maybe we'll have some answers by then?
These hips do lie. Shakira, Shakira.
Jax. You sweet, auto-sabotaging mess. I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't think Jax would be the most likely candidate to abstract. For the longest time, I thought Ragatha would abstract next. And then episode 6 decided to give me a punch to the guts. In this episode, essentially we follow Jax's slow descent to destruction, and it's not very obvious at first. After all, he's having a genuinely good time with Pomni for the most part. And then some hints starts to show, like his interaction with Ragatha. And I'm not sure if the reason why he reacted that way was explicitly because of what she said, or because he can't take it when someone pushes his buttons, or both, but the next moment he just shoots her repeatedly like she insulted him and his entire ancestry. At least one thing's for sure, he did not like what she said. The pure rage you can see on his face afterward is sickening, and the way he just goes back to masking himself when Pomni comes back is absolutely terrifying in hindsight. You can see how fast he is to sort out his emotions, showing us that he is used to it. And finally we get to the end of the shooting game. There's only 2 people left, Pomni and Jax, and for some reason Jax just tells Pomni to shoot him. No playful banter, no fun battle before the best of them wins, no, just shoot me. Alright, Pomni is understandably taken aback, especially since we're talking about I like to shoot, betray, and have fun without consulting anyone Jax, and the more you watch, the more you start to realize what's actually happening. Because at one point, Jax goes as far as to tell Pomni that they were never friends, that all that they did together was just hang around and their bonding was just in her head. And of course, it's pretty obvious to see that he's lying right now. It's pretty clear when rewatching the episode that he was enjoying his time with Pomni Pomni. He was having fun, he was genuinely happy with her, and the advices and stories he told her, the bonding they had, all of them were real, and that's exactly why he pushed her away. He was getting too emotionally invested, which was dangerous to him. Like I said before, he doesn't want to have a real connection with people. He doesn't want to know them beyond the image he created of them. He might care, but he desperately doesn't want to. He's in this delusion that isolating himself is keeping him safe. And I think all of this is exactly why he's dangerously on the verge of abstracting. At one point in their argument, he tells Pomni how unpleasant people about to abstract are to be around, how she doesn't know how truly upsetting they can get, while not realizing that's exactly what he's doing right now. In his attempt to stay in character, Jax is becoming more insufferable and more unlikable to everyone. He exceeded the limits and is literally swimming in the too far gone zone. In the end, he finally lashes out, calling everyone in the circus his playthings, telling Pomni how awful of a man that he is. And once again, he's actively trying to push her away, telling her how he's just an awful person, that there's nothing else to him, to stop trying to reach him because there's nothing inside of him worth of her to defend. There's nothing worth searching. Like I said before, isolating himself from any real form of connection is what he thinks is the best way to be safe, which is completely wrong. He doesn't realize that by being alone, he's actually getting more prone to abstraction. After all, look at episode 4. I think we can all agree that in the end, if Pomni didn't talk to Gangle, she would have abstracted. Same with Ragatha this episode. I don't think she would have abstracted, but if Kinger wasn't there, she would have been on the path to it. My point is, the reason why they are mostly okay now is because they had other people with them. I think abstraction is a state that happens when you feel like you have no one else and nothing with you anymore. When you keep to yourself in your own self-sabotaging and destructive bubble, with no one to be yourself with and talk to. And with the way things are going, it seems like Jax is getting on the path to it, and if nothing changes, he might actually abstract tomorrow.
You cheat off me in Spanish because you think I'm Mexican.
Maybe.
It has been a few episodes since Caine started to lose his sanity a bit, which, honestly, I have to upload the cast for, because how the fuck do you manage to make an AI depressed and start having a literal crash out? For a while now, the cast has been pretty dismissive of Caine, almost pushing the boundaries of his own limits. I think the fact that he is an AI makes it so the others don't really care about him or what he's doing. And I feel like Caine is slowly realizing this, and it might just actually break him. Yeah, it's pretty obvious to see, but it seems like the more the show is going, the more self-aware Caine is becoming, and the more he realizes how really little he matters to the others in the circus. But now the real question is, which do you think we'll see first? Caine's absolute breakdown or the abstraction of another character? Actually, wait a minute, I just realized something. Can Caine abstract? I don't know, it feels like something he could be undergoing, but since he's not really a person, it might not really be what's happening. Like I said, I don't know. But one thing for sure, we are not finishing this show without Caine having a destructive existential crisis that may or may not affect everyone else. In a very bad way. Also, I'm not sure if the committee he's referring to is actually something relevant or if it was just a one-off joke for the favorite character award. Either way, pretty weird stuff. Let's just hope we'll get more answers soon. And that's all for today. I really hope I managed to get this out before episode 7. Either way, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment your thoughts, and I'll see you around.